He fingered a few buttons and thumbed some switches, pulled up a map in his optical relay, and set the cruiser to a brisk speed, only going slightly faster than what was recommended. He needed to get to Mason, but he wasn't in any rush to go faster than he was asked to go. When the car jolted to a stop, Jeremiah begrudgingly opened the door to the cruiser and stepped out. Why do these things always break so hard? He waved his identification badge over the door. The car lowered and put itself into lockdown. The windows dimmed to avoid black. The exhaust ports slammed shut underneath the vehicle, so it would be a dragging brick rather than a floating one, and the handles started running an electric current through them. If anyone tried to open the doors, they'd be shocked, their fingers analyzed and placed into the system for attempted theft of a police vehicle. If they were dumb enough to try again, they'd be stunned with a slightly less than lethal blow, which would paralyze them for up to 10 minutes, as a chip was inserted into their hand, producing electric charges until someone arrived. Jeremiah had to test it in the academy once, had pissed himself the first time. The second time, he remembered, wasn't nearly as funny, as he lay on the ground convulsing with his fellow cadets. Jeremiah strode through the winding alleys and found himself at a massive entranceway, big enough for the largest of machinery and vehicles to get through side by side by side. He took a small walkway on the right and made his way down the long tunnel, following the dimly lit orange lights, which were slammed into the concrete walls. They were obviously rushed during their installation by the telltale cracks and fissures which spread from them. How long had this place existed? Longer than Jeremiah, definitely. Maybe longer than Mom and Dad. What about their parents? His grandparents had been the first to be born down here. Their parents had been selected to be a part of this new life, he recalled. He remembered the stories he was told growing up, which were passed down one generation after another. His grandparents told him what they had heard about the sunlight. Shortly after his great-grandparents moved here, everyone heard stories that there was a war above, a war which killed everyone instantly. They were told nuclear weapons incinerated everyone and everything, so not even dust remained. His great-grandparents told their children they had seen movies from above, of what those bombs could do. Entire cities were leveled. He tried to imagine it, but couldn't. The stories described it as giant mushroom clouds which relieved skin from bone. Jeremiah had never seen a mushroom before, so he did not know what to imagine. But he had seen people burned, and he had seen muscle and bone before. When he asked what a mushroom was, he was told it had a shaft with a dome on top. His only frame of reference was rather phallic. If only those movies were still around, he thought once. But the capital had stopped distribution of them. He wondered what people in the above had seen in their last moments, and how lucky he was to be descendants of people who were randomly selected by lottery to come down and be a part of a new life. The long tunnel to the irons began to open up. It had clearly become hotter by how much Jeremiah was sweating. His mind wandered as he meandered to his target. He needed to find Mason and confront him without incident. Please, for fuck's sake, let there not be an incident, Jeremiah sighed. Why did I get assigned to this bullshit? Mason Davis? Jeremiah walked to the largest man he saw. He wasn't exactly hard to miss. Who the fuck is asking? I'm Detective Jeremiah. What the fuck you want, pig? Mason kept on working, walking around Jeremiah as he lifted machinery and lugged wheelbarrows full of iron ore to dump in a pile. I just had a few questions, mostly on your last case. What do you want to know? I was acquitted of that bullshit charge. He stopped and looked at Jeremiah. Mason tensed his muscles, and Jeremiah could see Mason was itching for a fight.